Parashat Vayechi. If you look at Jews, it seems they're always mumbling. They always say something. They're about to take a cup, they say something, right? They I don't know, finish eating, always mumble. So maybe instead of calling us the wandering Jew, we can call us the mumbling Jew. Of course, what we say all the time is, "Oh, Kohen." Baruch Hashem. So everything that we do, everything that we have is a special mumble to it called /bracha, right? So let's understand why do we have to, what's the inyan of bracha altogether? Or bracha will be also tefillah, davening, praying, and so on and so forth. That it's so important to our lives altogether. The bracha is like almost like a magical collection of words that it's become so important, so much that in about half of our week's parasha, this week's parasha deals with brachot. Let's call it blessing, but we'll say brachot. Yaakov gets a bracha, he gives Ephraim and Menashe a bracha, he gives the Shvatim, he gives a bracha, everything is a bracha. So, let's see if we could understand something from what is happening here to our lives and for something that we do all the time. We say at least 100 times different blessings throughout the day. So what does it mean? So first of all, we have to remember that our Torah sees the ability of us to speak as a tremendous source of power. That's what gives us such an advance on other creatures and other animals. And speaking is not just a collection of words. You're putting it together, it's a collection of words. From the very beginning, the world was created with a word, with words. As we say, "Be'asara ma'amarot nivra ha'olam." What's a ma'amar? Let's call it a paragraph. Okay, to that matter, without getting into Kabbalistic issues. And when Am Yisrael is coming to Mount Sinai, he's getting the Aseret מה? הדיברות. לא עשרת המצוות, עשרת הדיברות. דיברות מלשון דיבור, speech. I mean, that by itself is a whole different sugya, why those dafka, it's called aseret dibrot and not aseret hamitzvot. It should be aseret dibrot. Of course, corresponding maybe, I don't know, just suggestion. Maybe corresponding with the 10 ma'amarot, as we say that the world was created, so therefore we got the aseret dibrot in terms of that. We need to understand that every time we speak, since the world, our universe, was created with words, in a way, every time you speak, you're borrowing something from the ability of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're borrowing this koach, this power, this energy from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now you got to see how careful you are with your words. You might take this energy and destroy things with it, or build things with it. And as you know, we sometimes destroy people with words, or we help people survive with words. Words are terrible or wonderful. Maybe you should think now how you speak to your kids, how you speak to your wives, how you speak to your friends. You understand now why we are so obsessed with so-called lashon hara. Not that it's a fashion, pushed by this yeshiva or the other yeshiva, not mentioning any names. But because it's a tremendous wrong usage of power that God has, and so therefore B'Tselem Elokim, with the so-called the image of God that man was created, is the image of speaking. Animals don't speak. Animals communicate, but they don't speak. Different languages. I don't see a horse learning how to speak a different language. You can only communicate with horses. In horsenage, I don't know, whatever language they speak. Man is different. So we have to be very careful with our words. Now you try to pay attention to that. It's very important. So therefore the Gemara in Baba Metzia and Daf Tzadik says, Akimutz fatav have maaseh. Even moving your lips is considered to be an action. You can chas v'shalom kill somebody. You give a testimony on somebody, you can have him get killed. Or you could revive somebody, give a testimony, speak dvar chova or schut. You know, there's a big difference of life and death. So therefore, speaking is a very powerful element, and you should not underestimate the ability of the demagogue. Look what chas v'shalom, you know, machshemo rasha, Hitler, with the ability to speak. Look what he did; it destroyed the whole world almost. So be very careful with people who speak and what they say. Be very careful. Don't go captive after fancy talkers. Because many times they lead you astray. You got to be very careful. So let's go back to what we were talking before. So we were talking before about the word bracha. Okay? Before I want to tell you about the word bracha, I want to give you a small introduction to what I really want to, to this matter. If we take the word chaver, what's chaver? Friend. מה זה לחבור? To join. חבר. חטא, בית, רש. Switch it together. חרב. Sword. Switch it again. Barach, run away. So you can take those words and play with it, and you could see how we could change. You could understand now why it's important to buy your friend. Buy your friend, don't run away from him, and or acquire yourself a friend. Don't run away from him, because then it's like running like a store. Like running with a sword. Somebody will chase you with a sword. Better off you chase after him with kindness than he chases you with a sword. So the word bracha, and we say that in the those of us who say the Yehi Ratzon of the Ben Ish Chai before Kiddush on Friday night, the word bracha also is associated with the word berech. Berech means to bend. Berech bracha also sounds like brecha. Brecha means a pool, a connection, a gathering of something. Usually it's going to be water. So the word bracha and brecha comes to indicate to us, as the Ben Ish Chai brings, and we say those the Yehi Ratzon, that the bracha, when I'm giving something a bracha, or someone giving me a bracha, I'm directing myself or my action to the source of the abundance in this world, to the collection, to the reservoir of all the brachot, all the blessings that we need in order to exist. So I'm taking it from there. That reservoir needs to be maintained. So that's why you understand now why it's important if he says, a person that does this and this and this, mavi bracha la'olam. You're increasing the reservoir. Chas v'shalom. We don't want to run out of the reservoir of brachot, not only for us as individuals, not only for us as Jews, for us as humans. So we have to be involved with actions that would continue refilling the reservoir. And when we make a bracha, a specific bracha, we point or we direct to the root of that reality. And we connect that reality with its source, which is endless, like this. We connect it, right? We bring it about. And by doing so, right, we bring about the abundance in the world. Our bracha is the connection between the element downstairs, the reality that we have here, with the source of the reservoir of the blessing. We make the bracha, let's make the connection, and then the abundance comes to this world. Can you tell him I'll call him right back? Okay?
The royal will call you right back.
Now, it's my son. So, the word bracha, as we said before, now you understand why you have to say brachot. If you want to eat something, you're not going to make a bracha. Because you want that, what you're eating, to have some kind of, let's call it, positive energy in you. So it won't be a curse for you. We eat food, we don't make brachot, it kills us. Or maybe we say brachot, we don't really mean it, so the connection doesn't come. And then the food becomes a poison to us. You eat a little bit, you make a bracha appropriately, it becomes of a medicine to you. The word bracha, also, the root of it is levarech. Levarech is also berech, as we said before, knee. A knee or a joint that is bending, okay? And that, for example, what's the importance of the knee? And now you'll understand maybe the difference between us and the angels. Angels don't have knees, right? According to the Medrash, angels don't have knees. You know why it's good to have a knee? It's good to have a knee because it allows us to bend down, to lower our body down all the way to the floor, to become humble, or to do something else. Let's say, for example, you need to pick up something from the floor. What is this? It's not mine, it's yours. Let's say, for example, you need to pick up something from the floor. Can you try to do so without bending your legs? You can't. You have to have your knees to bend down to pick something up. Imagine you need to lift, and even more so, the heavier the weight, the more you need to strengthen your knees. So this is what we say, to bring about the shefa from above. An angel cannot do that. We can do it. Humans can do it. Ooh, PCPs. You know, in Israel they have PCPs in Fresco. Yeah. Thank you. So we take the spiritual abundance and we bring it down to this world, and now we give chayut. In a way, we make the bracha. We're giving this world some kind of a neshama, some kind of like livelihood, spiritual livelihood. So if you go like this, you'll understand, or you could see that the bracha is an act of connecting between our reality, our world, to something that is way above and beyond that, in order to bring about the abundance, the shefa from down here, which is similar to the melacha that a farmer would do. For example, it's called havracha. Havracha in agriculture is when I'm taking, for example, a vine, okay, and I'm artificially creating a rootstock from putting it into the ground. I'm bending it down, I'm putting it into the ground, the roots come down, and all of a sudden I can cut it a few years later, and I have myself a tree. That's called havracha, and you could really see that this is this is all those things that we do in terms of the physical world happens to us in the spiritual world as well. So we bring about from above to have shefa in order to have chayut. If I want to have, for example, if I have one grapevine and I want to make 10 other grapevines, so I need to take 10 different branches, put it into the ground, the roots will come, and then I cut it and I have shefa, and now I can eat and I have nutrients, I have food, I have this, I have that, etc., 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 etc. So that's when we make a bracha. Now you see how important the words are that you speak, and how important it is to say appropriate brachot for everything that we do. Of course, and we'll see later, Bezat Hashem, that it's very important to give brachot whenever you can. So you might say to yourself, okay, this is only for a tzaddik, right? Oh, Mr. Grossman. Did you come from Canada or something? Okay. So you might say this is only a tzaddik, right? Only tzaddikim, only rabbis can go and bring the shefa down. I can go to a big tzaddik, he'll give me a bracha, and that's it. Give him a little bit of You know, a nice bill over there, an envelope. I know if said that he's going to give me the chef. I know what Rabotai. You cannot be more wrong than that. The Gemara says, "Al tiyeh birkat hediot kala befanecha." Everybody, even a simpleton, his bracha is worth a lot. So you don't have to go to a big rebbe. You just have to collect a lot of brachot from a lot of people. So a person, because you might say, well, you know, the tzaddik is able to identify my shorish neshama, and he's going to give me a special bracha, and so on and so forth. As the pasuk says, "Vayivarech otam ish asher ki birchato berech otam." He blessed them according to the appropriate bracha, right? And you know, he gave Yaakov gave, and later on Moshe gave a specific bracha for every shevet according to their need, and so on and so forth. But this is not the case. As we said before, Al tiyeh birkat hediot kala befanecha. Even a simpleton's bracha is important. He has tremendous weight on it, and so on and so forth. Famous story of the Ari. The Ari and his talmidim were sitting in the field one time, and he saw a cloud of locusts coming over the town, and they said, you know, what happened? What's going on? So he said, there's a person who sits in a corner and he's crying, he's poor, and nobody takes care of him, and that by itself is a punishment for us. So go right away, feed him, take care of him. And they went and they fed, and then the locusts turned around and they went away. In other words, you could see that one complaint, quote unquote, of one person could bring destruction to the world. And that's why we have to be careful. That's why we have to be careful. So we have to understand this gift that we were giving and try to spread the good instead of the bad. And by giving people brachot, we are connecting the shoresh of the neshama of the person and its meaning in order to bring more abundance to them. So life will be better for them. Things will be easier for them. And you don't know, giving a bracha to someone, what difference would it make on somebody's life? I remember a story I heard one time from Rabbi Kron. I forgot, one of his kids was running, it was bothering him, running, with his tricycle, I don't know, whatever story. And he's about to yell at him, and he said to him, "You, tzaddik! You righteous man." I mean, because he could say to him, "You, this, that, and the other thing, other superlatives that we usually give our kids." And you don't know, at this moment, could be in Shamayim, a little window opened up, and it says, okay, you're going to determine the fate of your kid. What is your kid? What is he going to be? So you could say, Rasha, whatever, I don't know. So no, tzaddik. It's very important what you say. So you give bracha to someone. You encourage him. Let's say somebody has a wife that she doesn't want to wear a head covering or something like that. Why are you going to start fighting with her? You're going to roll your sleeves up, you're going to scream, you're going to yell, that's not going to lead anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. So you can say, listen, you're such a tzaddiket. Hashem yivarech otach, I'll bless you every day. It's not bribing. It's trying to bring good on it, and by doing so, changing the person. Because when I'm yelling and I'm angry, I'm bringing deen on the person. And if you really care about this person, you don't want to bring deen to them. You want to bring chesed to them. And how are you going to do so? Give people brachot. I know people in Israel, their mouth does not stop saying brachot. They see you in the street, every person, it's like ridiculous. And I love it because those people, the specific people that they only give brachot to people. The wife, she's kind of heavy, she's hard for her, and she gives brachot to everybody. I don't know, how is it possible? It's like lehavdil. It's like a rapper, They go like, 120 miles an hour saying words and rhymes. And so those people, instead of hip-hopping, they're saying brachot hopping. They go like the whole line of brachot. And that's an amazing quality that a person has. So say brachot to people. Give them blessing, give them strength. If you see somebody that is weak, give him a bracha, because your bracha might actually elevate him, lift him up. Give him that extra boost that he needs to go to the other side. If he cannot draw the bracha to himself, you need to help him, and then bring the bracha on him as well. And when you, even more so, because if a person, for example, is depressed and is alone or something like this, or it's difficult for him, when you give him a bracha, it's a sign of affection, that you care about him, so he doesn't feel alone. So mimele, he has koach to overcome it, he doesn't feel alone, and so therefore he's going to do so. And that's something that we need to think about, what we do and how do we interact with people, how we speak to people. So you don't have to travel to the other side of the world, spend money, first class, get brachot from righteous people. If you happen to be there, you happen to be there. But you can get bracha from anyone. You can get brachot from anyone. And that would stick just as much as brachot from a tzaddik. I know it's not Hasidish what I'm telling you, but I don't really care. Right, Rebbe? Right? You want to go to the Rebbe because you think he's going to give you a bracha, everything's going to be good. No. You want, and what do we say about it? If you want to get brachot yourself? He who davens for his friend answers first. You want something good, pray for it, give brachot to other people. You'll be mevorach yourself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, that's a good investment. Let me give this guy, because he gives everybody brachot. He's the one who brings the shefa down to this world. So instead of spending your time waiting in line for some Rebbe and so on and so forth, sit down and learn Torah, or teach somebody, or do something good, that will be much better for that. So it seems with all the brachot and all the love that Yaakov gave Yosef still had some very, very difficult time when he had in Mitzrayim. And it's quite possible, and Yosef maintained himself, okay? He was still a frum Jew, and it was, everything like this. But it seems that maybe even because of those difficulties, he was able to overcome them and to stay really who he is and really transform himself a little better. And he's able to teach his kids. If things will be easy for him, where's Mark when I need him? If things would have been easy for him, I'm not quite sure that he will be able to tell his kids the importance of maintaining or becoming a Jew, staying a Jew, and give him a proper example. I don't think so. But maybe because it was so difficult, he was able to, gear himself towards that and to give his kids a good example on that matter. And his kids are able to maintain the temptations of exile and really become an integral part of Am Yisrael. So I'm going to tell you something from Rav Kamenetsky in the Sefer Emet LeYaakov. He brings something very beautiful. He says the following, that Ephraim was in greater danger of assimilation and being overrun by the Egyptian culture than Menashe. Why? Because Ephraim was born in a time where Yosef was already completely immersed in Egypt, in Mitzrayim. And the word Mitzrayim is very important. Very immersed in that. And the proof of that is his name. His name Ephraim means Ki Hifrani Elokim be'eretz oni. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made me fruitful and successful in my exile. So therefore, you see, it was already there. So Yaakov put his right hand, on the head of Ephraim, because Ephraim was able to maintain greater temptation and overcome them than Menashe. And Menashe, of course, his name is also Kinishani. Because Nishani, I was still connected to my father from my father's house. I was still connected, so he was still connected to his father's house. It wasn't that settled in. So his test wasn't that great. That's why Yaakov comes and he switched the hands because of that. That's what Rav Kamenetsky says. And but Ephraim, also because Ephraim needed a stronger bracha than Menashe, because he was born. Well, his father was completely immersed into that. He was already established as second to the king, well established to second of the king. Oh, every day late, you'll see. So, you like Elad, every landing always late. That's what he stands for, right? Yeah.
TWA, the worst airline.
TWA, I thought they're done, but yeah, anyway, yeah. And Yaakov understood that those kids grew up in a foreign society, in a foreign country, and he needed to give them something to actually survive. And that's why the Torah emphasizes the bracha that he gave those kids and not the rest of these kids, because he doesn't say that anywhere he gave them another bracha, because the other ones were not, the brothers were not so immersed into that. So I guess Yaakov was not so concerned that the kids were completely overrun by the Egyptian society, because of their parents were not second to the king, the ones who are immersed into that. So, which is very interesting. When we come to give a bracha, therefore, that brings us to the case that we do. When we come to give a bracha to our kids on Shabbat, what do we say? Yesimcha Elokim ke'Efraim u'ke'Menashe. We don't say Yesimcha Elokim ke'Avraham, Yitzchak ve'Yaakov, David, Shlomo, Yosef, Aaron, Yechezkel. We don't say that. Ephraim u'Menashe. Lama dafka Ephraim u'Menashe? Because there was something special among Ephraim and Menashe. Ephraim and Menashe, not only did they grow up in a foreign environment and they were able to maintain their Jewish identity, they were also getting along together very well. They didn't fight with each other. They had harmony and they had closeness to one another, and that closeness allowed them to stay together, loyal to the derech of Am Yisrael. If, for example, let's say Yitzchak is my brother, and I, Chas v'Shalom, have a fight with him, and Yitzchak is associating himself, let's say, with Judaism, by default, there is a great chance that I would disassociate myself from Judaism because I'm fighting with him. So I need to disconnect myself from anything that he's associated with. Ephraim and Menashe did not do that. They got along together very well. So we give our kids this bracha of maintaining Ephraim and Menashe, of maintaining, hopefully they maintain their Jewish identity, and they will stay in mutual harmony throughout, because that's what we really want to give. That's what we really want to give our kids. When I have them, they will be able to get along with one another, that they will be harmonious to one another. And if we look at the word of Mitzrayim, in the historical, and the more I look into Egypt, the more I'm amazed at the level of filth that this society had. You can't imagine. We know the Romans were wacky. We know the Greeks were, forget about it. Everybody likes to say the greatest contribution of the Greeks was the democracy and philosophy, and I'll add something else. The greatest contribution of Greeks was syphilis as well. Disgusting. Disgusting people. Disgusting people. Egypt, the worst. Egypt, the worst. We're almost there, by the way. We're almost there in terms of what they do in Egypt. Egypt was the only place in the old world that a woman used to marry a woman, and a man used to marry a man, and a woman used to marry a cat, and a man married a dog. We're almost there. And never before. Now, if we in our society do what they did in Egypt there, and we are the Jews as much as they were the Jews, what are we doing to make sure we're not going to disappear in the darkness of Egypt? Makat choshech, not only the choshech, the darkness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in, the darkness of which society had casted on the Jews. Those who were completely assimilated into that. What do you think is going to happen? If you're a secular Jew in America, fourth generation secular Jew, out of 100 Jews, you're only one. Okay? Fourth generation American, if you were Haredi, if you were an Orthodox Jew, from 100 people, you are 1,000. Where are you going to choose, boy? What are you going to choose? So you have to understand what Mitzrayim does and how does it do it. It's very, very important. Take that and apply it to our society and the way we live our lives today. So the word of Mitzrayim is not just a country and it's not just a group of people. Mitzrayim represents a certain force, power. And the power of Mitzrayim is that it constricts, Lishon Tsar, Meitzar. Meitzer makes things difficult. It chokes you from within. That koach, that power that represents Mitzrayim, is a spiritual reality in which the lights, the spiritual lights of holiness, of Kedusha disappear. It's like a spiritual black hole that swallows you from within. Constriction, so condensed that no light can come out. That's Mitzrayim. It's mamash, a spiritual black hole. And when we talk about tzimtzum, condensation, squeezeness, even of the sechel of the person, you can't think anymore. You become a buffoon. Mamash kacha. And a person, instead of thinking big, all he's thinking is about little things. How many philosophers are today? How many people have this philosopher? How many people do you know that when you sit with them can speak about the big things rather than little things? Did you hear what Trump says? Did you hear what Biden, whatever is it, Biden, whatever it is, Beta head said? You heard what John Paul Kerry said? Did you hear what this? You heard about Kim Kardashian? They found the what are you talking about? Did you ever have a conversation with one of so-called your friends about big things, about the meaning of life, about things of depth? Huh? Look at it, face it, and tell me the truth. And you know that I'm right. You didn't. And the reason why you did is I ask yourself, why am I doing with these people? What am I doing with these people? Let's talk about the same garbage time in and time out. All the time, the same garbage. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he do? He said, die already, enough. That's Mitzrayim. It makes you small, not a big person. And small people, how do we call this Matzava? Rosh? Rosh Katan. Rosh Natznatz. Katan kaze. Tik, tik, you know. Pinhead. You can't think big. And when you can't think big, you want some Messiah leader to help you. How can I help you? Because he's just as small as you. And then the danger comes because somebody can come in and actually manipulate himself to the top, and then he could use his force to manipulate all of you. Because he can't think big. He can only think about the immediate things. The small things, like the sesame seed on top of a lonely cake. That's what we are. So you're eating the sesame seed instead of eating the bread. That's Mitzrayim. So this Mitzrayim, right, makes you in prison. A free person that his mind can grasp the whole reality, the way things are, is a person that is not in Mitzrayim. The rest of the people, right, are slaves. A slave is a person who can only think about little things, and we all become slaves, and that's what the Avadim in Mitzrayim. According to some Mefarshim, they weren't slaves. They enslaved themselves. Why? By tzimtzum mochin. They condensed their brains. They became mentally challenged. Spiritually retarded. I can say spiritually retarded, right? Spiritually retarded is not a part of the DSM-5, so I can say spiritually retarded. And in a state of Mitzrayim, there's no breathing. Everything is choking. So you live with like this around your neck. Everything is stress. You can't go and you go, wow, look at this. So you're going to tell me, Rabbi, we're not like that. I don't know, are you really? Really? When was the last time you went to nature? Yeah, I know, life is not a Jeep commercial. But when was the last time you went out to nature, you stood on a rock and you said, hey, life's good. You can't do it because you're always busy working. Let me make another penny. You are slaves. And you have been sold illusions. You are in Egypt. Welcome to Egypt. Ladies and gentlemen, we just have landed in Egypt. Can't breathe anymore. It's choking you. And that's exactly what it is. We become slaves of all the possessions we have that choke us, that hold us down, that sink us down. We buy bigger houses because we want to be bigger slaves. More and more, we become slave of this mentality, the physical mentality. We want immediate pleasure, immediate gratifications. We don't want to think about anything big. And that makes us into worse than animals. Why? Because we have this ability to become so high, so noble, that it brings us all the way down. And it's bone crushing. And if you look at this, for example, which is very interesting, we talked about words and changing words. So the word paro, right? If you change the word, is he'aref, right? So in the he'aref, in the less previous parashiot, right? We were talking about he'aref or ha'oref, which is the neck. What does the neck do? Suspends your head, connects the head to the body, right? Let's say the spiritual to the physical, right? And allows the air to go. So the last previous parashiot, we had 3 ministers, right? We had Sara Tabachim, Sara Ofkim, Beshara Mashkim, right? Everybody, everything is connected with the throat. To drink, to eat, and to chop your head off. It's all connected with the throat. And if you take this, the words Tabachim, Sara Tabachim, Mashkim, Ve'ofim, if you take the first letter of every word, what do you get? Tameh, impure. Tameh, not only impure, also means atum. Atum means sealed. The tum'ah seals the kedusha, does not allow it to breathe. Mitzrayim is the pit of tum'ah, doesn't allow the kedusha to breathe. That's why Yaakov Avinu was petrified. That's why he says, I got to give him the bracha. He was petrified of going to Mitzrayim. Then Until HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, listen, Yaakov, Habibi, go, it's okay, don't worry, I'm with you, don't worry. Yaakov didn't want to go. Last week, didn't want to go because of that. And we need to understand that in the moach of the person, in our spiritual intellect, there are 3 parts, right? We have and the physical one. We have the moach yamin, the right lobe, which is chokhmah. Moach small, the left lobe, keneged bina, והאמצעי, the middle one, keneged dat. Chokhmah, bina, vadat. Unlike, never mind. Yes, you got it. Right? And that dot that does the average between the chokhmah and the bina, that dot spreads out all over your body. That spreads all over the body. And that's the internal shefa, the internal abundance that you have is the dot. You know things. If you have an imbalance on chokhmah or bina, your dot would not be balanced, and therefore you have a distortion in the body as well. You know, people that know a lot, only chachamim, but they don't have the bina to understand that this is all nonsense. So they learn a lot of Greek philosophy, Greek mythology, and all kind of stuff like that. And then they become imbalanced. The shefa doesn't come to the body. And the other one around. Right? They know, but they're not willing to learn anything. They understand. I understand the Torah is important. I understand the learning Torah is important. But I don't have the chokhmah inside of me. I don't have the Torah itself inside of me. And I also become imbalanced. That's why you need to have it balanced. Right, Rebbe? Okay, yeah, good. And And the shefa, that's the shefa ruchani. The shefa gashmi, the abundance, the physical abundance goes through your neck, right? Because when you eat and when you drink, right, all the nutrients go through your body through this part. And Paro stands in the neck and doesn't allow. Paro stands like this and doesn't allow the abundance to spread. He grabs you tight from your neck. If you're going to try to swallow something when I'm, holding you like this, you're not going to be able to swallow. Anybody wants to try, by the way? Oh, okay. That's Paro. He doesn't allow the shefa to come down. He squeezes you hard. That's Mitzrayim. But together with that, into this narrow place, Yaakov Avinu brings life to Egypt. How does he bring life to Egypt? Yaakov Avinu brings the power of revival. How? He brought together with him the light of Eretz Israel to Mitzrayim. He took Mitzrayim to a place that life could be sustained there. You could actually live in Mitzrayim, and therefore, by doing so, allowing Bnei Israel to live, to come out. How did he do so? He takes the letter of Shem Hashem, the Aleph of Elokim, and he takes the Aleph of Elokim of Galut, Golah, and he puts it into Geulah, redemption. He switches things around. He brings the Aleph of Elokim. How does he bring the Aleph of Elokim into Mitzrayim? What were the actions that allowed Yaakov to bring the Aleph of Elokim? Maybe that's why the reason that Torah started with Bereshit and not with Aleph, with Bet. Because we needed the Aleph to bring it to Mitzrayim, to give us Chayut. How did he do so? It's very simple. Because the first thing that Yaakov Avinu does when he comes to Mitzrayim, what does he do? First of all, he sends Yehuda to establish Batei Midrash. Not just to learn Torah. Look at Rashi. Batei Midrash, shesham tipasek halacha. That they would know exactly what to do. They would know halacha. Yehuda goes. Yehuda was the melech. Go, Habibi, ata tilech chalutz. Make Batei Midrash. I want Batei Midrash. Your people would be poskei halacha. The people would know exactly what to do. They would not have a doubt. Learning halacha is very important. Especially here in America. Especially even in Israel. Because they galut in Israel too. Learning halacha is important. You know what to do. When you know what to do, you don't have no doubt. When you have no doubt, there's no Amalek. There's nothing. I know what to do. I have the doubt inside of me. I'm balanced between Chokhmah and Binah. I have the doubt. If I know what to do, the shefa comes. I know what to eat. I know what's kosher. I know what's not kosher. What's the big deal to eat kosher? I don't need heterim for this and heterim for that. They're going to heter to eat a pork soon also. So he sends Yehuda to Egypt to establish Batei Midrash, where halacha will be determined, when they sit down and they learn la'asuk eshmateta, alibad ilchata. They learn Gemara la'asuk eshmateta, so they can know what to do. That's A. B, he took Shema Yisrael. He says Shema Yisrael, the Yichud of Hashem, he brings it with him to Mitzrayim. The Yichud Hashem, I am going to come with Hashem with me. By sanctifying Hashem as one, I'm bringing Hashem with me. The battle cry of every Jew, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. I'm bringing it with me to Egypt, so I can need to do it. Again, he took the Golah. You take the word Golah, Gimel, Vav, Lamed, Hey, you put the Aleph inside, you get Geulah. Rabotai, you want to be redeemed, you have to learn Torah. You want to be redeemed, you have to keep your Jewish identity. You don't keep your Jewish identity, you don't learn. And not only to learn, you have to learn like you're possessed. You are going to be consumed. You are not going to make it. Your kids are not going to make it. You're going to perish. This is Egypt. And we are the Bnei Israel inside. And I don't need to tell you that you see today already, Bidat Makat Choshech, how many people disappear? We're not going to make it. That's why it's a chovah on us to awaken every Jew Ba'asherhu, to come and learn. You have somebody in your family that does not learn, you drag him down here to learn. You bring him here to learn. You don't ask him, please. You tell him you come to learn, you're going to disappear. You're not going to be successful enough. You're going to be consumed and grinded by the forces that are greater than you. Those powers of Egypt are greater than you. They're going to consume you. It's a black hole. And you'll see the gravitational forces of the black hole. You can see them quite early. You can tell a person right away. All of a sudden, he doesn't want to look Jewish. He will cut. And then his hair. And then his kippah will get smaller. Smaller. His tzitzit will go. The tzitzit will go. That's already like you are in the red zone. You don't wear tzitzit. Your brother doesn't wear tzitzit. Your son doesn't wear tzitzit. You better watch out. Those people are on the brink of flipping over. And if they flip over, you can't control it. These are the signs. We have the signs. But we close our eyes. You have to go to school to go to college. Fine, to go to college, but not a problem. But you should know that coming here is more important than going to college, learning Torah. Keeping yourself Jewish is more important than getting a job and making money. You can't substitute that. Money will be taken away from you. Torah would never be taken away from you. So don't run to become a doctor. I don't care if you're going to become a doctor or not. Go learn some Torah, sit down, learn Shulchan Aruch, learn something. That would nobody will take away from you. You can go and wash dishes in the back of the restaurant, but stay a Jew. But don't become a big doctor or a big shot that doesn't know Aleph from Bet. Needless to say, a heretic. You're going to bring God with you anywhere you go. You bring God with you, He will not leave you. You're going to leave God, you're going to be disappeared. Have a Shabbat Shalom.